We're focusing a little bit on the fitness industry today. Bill, last week we had the CEO of Planet Fitness on with us, and he talked about how his franchisees are going to make it work, that it will work, but basically because they're such a low price point fitness chain. What about the rest of the fitness clubs? There are so many now, and it feels like they're all private equity backed.
Yeah, there's quite a few companies out there that fall in different criteria within the fitness space, and Planet Fitness as a high-value, low-price solution is well-positioned to do well, post-COVID. We conducted a fairly broad survey across the United States looking at people who worked out at least twice a week, and it looks as though there's going to be material seismic change in the fitness industry. Our data shows that at least a third of the people we surveyed are going to be canceling their membership. So if you think about an industry that does $32 billion in annual revenue and a third of that going away, that's $10 billion coming out of an industry where, to your point, there's a lot of private equity firms in there that, firms like 24 Hour Fitness was already contemplating bankruptcy pre-COVID-19. Mm-hmm. And here's an industry that employs 500,000 people, and there's this seismic shift is questioning the viability of certain business models.
Bill, with $10 billion in revenue leaving the industry, they also have massive debt burdens to tend to and rents to be paying. How much will investors be willing to pony up when we're seeing these debt downgrades ahead for even some of the healthier firms like Equinox?
Yeah, that's right. Well, there's certain models out there that will survive. So if you look at Equinox, they have great locations. They have evangelical customers. They're in cities. A lot of their locations are in cities where home fitness, for the most part, is not an option. If you look at certain concepts in the suburbs where the consumer has a reasonable alternative to exercise at home or do something else, then there are certain concepts. Lifetime Fitness is an example. Their average club is about 100,000 square feet. They don't have crowding issues. But there are companies, 24 Hour Fitness, Gold's Gym filed for bankruptcy. There are concepts out there where there's going to be a question as to how they survive. And we've heard some interesting concepts, but a lot of these club owners need to develop an omni-channel solution. And they were caught a little bit flat-footed. You look at Gold's Gym, prior to filing for bankruptcy, they had the strongest year in their history. In 2 months, this industry has transformed unlike anyone could expect.
So you mentioned omni-channel. You see Equinox raising money partly to do more online. You see SoulCycle doing classes online. So what then becomes of this massive commercial real estate footprint that a lot of these gyms occupy?
Well, so near term, there's going to be a lot of commercial real estate that becomes vacant. So there are 38,000 clubs in the United States, and based on our data, we think about a third of them may go away or transform in some fashion. But the industry is also made up of great operators and great entrepreneurs, and we believe there's some creative solutions out there. We've heard of things such as a club that is questionably going to survive, where they're going to give their members a connected fitness solution and give them equipment and allow their membership to amortize the pay down of the equipment. So most club owners recognize that they're going to be losing members, and the question is, how do you make them stick? But there is, on top of, there's studies out there that show about 100,000 retail locations could close by 2025. You add a third of the 38,000, there's an additional 12,500 fitness clubs that could be added to that. We think the number will be less because of the quality of the operators, but it's a material number that will be coming on the market.
Bill, what do venture capitalists do with their equity? Do they write it down? Typically, if they don't see an exit possibility within 5 years, that's what happens. They'll exit themselves. What do you see happening?
Well, I think they'll have to write it down, and we're in uncharted territory right now where I don't think anyone has a clear vision as to what the fitness industry is going to look like. We do see that of the, call it $10 billion coming out of the club space, about 15 to 20% going into home fitness. And that's $1.5 billion a year going into home fitness that's going to benefit companies like Peloton and others. So for those who are not invested in the space, we envision a fair amount of capital going into home fitness. But on the commercial side, we imagine that most investors are going to stand on the sidelines until the data plays out. And I think the data, my partner, Paul Byrne, who runs our fitness vertical, he ran Precor, which is one of the largest manufacturers of gym equipment in the world. And when we got this data back, he went and checked his sources to confirm, is this a third that are going to cancel confirmed? And the data we got back was yes. So I would imagine that most providers of capital, venture capital, private equity, will probably sit on the sidelines until the new world order shakes out.